Thank you.
Especially when you're out.
Is everybody hooked up?
Huh?
Everybody hooked up, you know?
think so.
Mr. Cat, Mike is in here. Jesse Urban is on his way. He won't come, but did he call in? Okay, he may or may not. I told him it's not.
Brian talks.
Okay. Okay. I think he's from Daytona.
Really?
Or-
Yeah, that's it too.
Maybe.
What did they-
Business trip.
Okay.
It's for another 2 hours, so.
Are you gonna need me to run anything, or is it just gonna be during presentations, you think?
Yeah,
Okay, well, if you do, I can. Okay.
Okay, it's 6:00. So we'll call the monthly meeting of the Share County Supervisors to order. Let's start out with roll call. Okay, Jesse is excused.
It's okay.
Everett, is yours on?
Everett's computer isn't up.
Oh,
Is it coming up or?
He's there.
well, he's here. So, all right, very good. Everybody's here then. We'll stand then for silent prayer and pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Then we're down to approval of agenda.
Motion to approve.
Okay, moved by Bonfiglio, second by Bossard. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, approval of the minutes of January 17th, 2023 monthly meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Wadle, second by Mr. Bonfiglio. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, very good. Public comments, we don't have any tonight. We have no unfinished business, so we'll move into new business, reports and presentations. We have Kurt Berner with Samuels Group on with a building project update. He's on the phone. So Kurt, you can go ahead.
Everyone able to hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you.
I apologize for wimping out tonight and not driving in the snow. But I do have some progress photos here that Megan has up, and I also have a video of the government center that we'll show at the end here. We shared it with the staff this last week. So I just wanted to give you an update on how things are progressing. Let's start with what's out for bid. So the design is complete on the balance of all the projects. So the EOC addition, the evidence and maintenance garage, and the Watoma EMS projects are all out for bid. On March 2nd, the evidence and the EOC bids are due. And on March 9th, the Watoma EMS bids are due. So we'll have a public bid opening for those. We will then work on bid recommendations for those projects and then bring them before the Building and Grounds Committee on the 16th of March. And then I should be able to provide you with an update in March on how the bids turned out for the balance of the projects for the master plan. The update here, maybe I'll have Megan just page through some of these photos. We put together some progress photos. Again, if you're unable to get to the job sites, I've pulled these up so that you can kind of see where the progress is right now. Again, you're encouraged to come out to the job sites and meet with our teams and tour the sites whenever you want. But this is the government center right now. This is up on that second floor looking south from the clear story. Go to the next one. We did some aerial drone flights that were here. This is from the southeast corner of the campus looking northwest to see the progress of the structure. The steel is up. There's some detailing that needed to be complete that they're working on completing yet. But the upper first slab floor was poured this week, and slabs will continue to pour. Go to the next one, Megan. This one's looking south from obviously the north part of the campus there. So you see as the infill, the penthouses, mechanical penthouses are up on the roof there. You see those will start to get infilled. Next slide. This is looking west. Next one. Here's the exterior walls are going up. You'll see that there's more progress there to date from this was the end of last week, and they've been working on it this week as well. Next slide. And here's looking north from the clear story up on that second floor for the government center. All right, so here's some progress at the highway shop. We did mainly all aerials of the highway shop. So all the footings and foundations are in for the highway shop. They're working on the block. So you can see the tented enclosures of the block walls, those are completed, are exposed, kind of flying around from the drone footage to be able to see the progress that's there. You can just keep flipping through them, Megan, to kind of give them some views of the different areas that are progressing there. So the highway shop's moving along nicely. You can see the progress that's there. We do have structural steel that should be arriving on the 6th of March. They're going to start with a structural steel on the office portion of the project while we continue with the masonry, because it's obviously load bearing for the steel there, so that we have both those progressing at the adjacent times. And then we've got the EMS and Dining Center in Poisippi. Got some photos for that. Obviously, we've got it's enclosed there, weather tight. They're putting on the FRP panels in the garage portion of the project. Drywall is finished. There's actually portions of the project that the drywall is finished. We got painting. I didn't get those pictures on there for you, but you see the kitchen is progressing there. We've got the roll-up counter door there. Mechanical room is progressing nicely. And then there's an exterior shot of the EMS. So all the projects are moving along very nicely on schedule. Right now we're shooting for mid-May for completion of the Poisippi EMS. It's really pending some of our site work. We're anticipating that we'll have finishes and interior and exterior finishes done prior to that. But what happens with our site work, we've got the utilities that need to be completed, and obviously the paving to wrap up at mid-May of this year. The highway shop, we're looking at early part of 2024 to be completed. And then the government center, we're targeting end of April to first part of May of 2024 for completion and occupancy. So that's my update. It's brief. If there are any questions in regards to anything that's progressing or anything that's out to bid right now.
Kurt, this is John. I was wondering, you said the EOC is out for bid. Did you say the evidence garages too, or evidence
Correct.
shed? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
That one is out
I
for
thought
bid.
so.
All the projects are out for bid right now. So evidence and EOC, those bids will be they're due next Thursday on March 2nd, and then the Wautoma EMS is March 9th, the following Thursday.
Okay, sounds good. Does anybody have any questions for Kurt? Okay, it's looking good, Kurt. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. Sorry I wasn't there in person, but appreciate the update here.
That's okay. Just stay safe. All right, and then we'll move into
All
the
right,
county
take care.
administrator's monthly report. Melissa Pingle.
And I did want to say thanks to Samuel's group. They did come on site last week after some requests of the departments, getting some communication, getting to see the video, kind of like what this is going to look like in concept. And then up here, they also provided us drawings with the different departments laid out in different colors, so you can kind of see what is going to be in certain areas. So it was pretty well received, and people really liked the video. So it was I thought it went really well, and I appreciate them taking the time to come out and do that with the staff here. And then I also want to introduce from Megan's staff, Nicole Overbeck, over here on the right. She has joined us, and she we'll be working with Megan, and I just wanted to give her a little introduction. So as she's over there taking notes, at least she has your names in front of you. So say hello to her when you're walking out. So from there, I have been trying to get to the departments, so getting to more of the committee meetings, getting out to see the employees and the department heads on site. So like at the sheriff's office and the highway department, sometimes they get a little bit left behind because they have different schedules. And so we're making a really overt effort to get to those outlying offices because they have a lot of our staff. And so just wanted to let you know that we're doing that. Yesterday we had ICC, the inter-county committee, coordinating committee,
yeah.
I think it is. And it's seven, I think it's 7 or 9 counties where they get together and they have a different topic every 2 months. And we had the UW extension there, the gentleman that's, that I think he's the executive director. And that was really good to meet with other counties, and John was there and Barry was able to come. And if you ever get a chance to come to those, I'll try to make sure I send those out. But it's nice to be able to kind of do think tanks with that. And we talked about some economic development stuff and where we kind of want to move with that. And we'll follow up on that in April. Right. We also are working on the emergency structure books, the books that are in like that the fire departments have, the EMS has, the police have. Those are from 2006. And so we're partnering with the fire departments in the DNR and GIS, which works for the county, to get those updated so that when they respond, they know where they're going, because we've had a lot of growth since 2006. So we'll keep you updated on that. Mark has been helping out a lot with that and kind of coordinating with the fire departments. And it's going to be a joint effort on the payment of the cost of the books or the printing. They want, like, it's around $4 a page. So we're looking into the state contract pricing, and so I'll just keep you updated on that. But that's a really important job that we have that updated for our, the people that visit here, the people that live here, with all the new driveways. So our GIS will be working on that with land records. And the EMS billing issue that we were having with financials, we're almost there. So things are going well. We're staying on top of them, having those meetings. Sarah's happy. Keith is happy. So I'm happy. But just want to let you know that we're balancing with them, and then going to decide what to do once we're closed with the auditor. So that'll be in May. Yeah, in May. And then the April County Board meeting is the meeting that we're going to have at 3:00, and Dan Foth will be here talking about open meetings. He'll get us agenda, but he's off this week and part of next week. And then once we have that, I'll get that out to you. But just a reminder for your calendar, 3:00 on that day. And we're going to have the go right into the county board meeting, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe a half an hour break or something.
Okay. We'll cook something and bring it in, and crock pots or something. And then the 2 staff things, we had the wellness fair last week or the week before. We had 90 people come. The year before we had 60 or 70. And then the town halls that I'm holding every month. This month we're about 70 of our employees either came or were online. And that's just the way for me to communicate out to the staff, and they can ask any questions that they have, and different departments report on different things. So it's been building with growth. So I think I'm pretty happy with it. Any questions?
Does anybody have any questions for Melissa?
Okay.
No, thank you. Okay, we'll move into our Highway Solid Waste Department Annual Report with Commissioner Brian Freimark.
Probably gonna look a lot like it did last year. Oh, yeah, okay. She changed the date. Okay, let's go ahead.
Success.
So this is just a 5-year average on what we've done. The orange on the lower on the left-hand side is levy. We did ask for increase from 21 to 22. Revenue still kept on coming up though, so that's always a good sign. Kind of just gives you a 5-year rolling average of what we did for paving. You can see like 21, we were way up because that was P. And then we had to back off. And of course, because P was such a large project, we weren't able to do any seal coating in 21, but in 22, we caught back up again. So then there's just some municipal seal coating. If you look, 2020 was probably the best year we ever had in seal coating. We did a little over 55 miles we did. So we didn't get that this last year, but keep in mind as you're looking at these numbers, price of asphalt's jumped up $12 a ton. Seal coating, the oil on seal coating has jumped. And of course, materials, all materials are generally going up. If you can see wherever there's something written, it'll tell you a date and the name of the township and how many miles there are in that. So when I first started 8 years ago, they asked, the committee at the time asked me to go out and get some extra work. We did get Plainfield this last year. It's another 55 miles that we added. We should be banging right around 367 miles of township road, 334 miles of county road, 136 miles of state roads that we're doing now. So I did not come and ask executive to add an employee for the town of Plainfield this last year because we were short so many, and we're still short about 5 employees right now. If we do get to the point that we're filled up, we will be requesting a person to help out in that township though. So we can be fully staffed and we can actually have a couple of guys allowed to take off to go to Florida or whatever in the wintertime instead of everybody being around when there's a snowstorm. So revenue expenses is when you work our machinery hard enough and what we generate for equipment time exceeds what it costs us to run the equipment. We're down about 60,000 this last year. Some of it is because I can tell you 25,000 of it is because one dump truck was down. We couldn't get parts for it. It sat all year and we lost money on that truck. So little things like that add up in a hurry. So projects for this year, County Road Double F. There is some money through the discretionary program that we'll be receiving. Double J Bridge, we're not actually going to be doing that in 2023. We're going to be building it in 2024. But if you remember, anybody was paying attention to the transportation budget that Governor Evers alluded to last week, there's about $50,000 that he has apportioned for the local road improvement program through what they call a supplemental. And that's why we got this money from the last budget go around. It's a 90-10 split. That bridge is not a legal bridge at this time. When it is constructed, it will be. And so that bridge will be eligible for 80-20 funding in the future and for repairs or replacement, rehabilitation. Right now, that bridge is going to cost us not the $500,000 or it's $500,000 to build it. It's going to cost us $40 because of that program. So pretty cheap bridge. And then we also qualified, there's a bridge just south of E and H on E. We've received funding for that one through the local road improvement program. We just selected a designer for that project. The bridge is supposed to be constructed in 25 though. So we have 3 bridges that are in bad shape. We have one more, it's not on there. It's County Road D over towards Borth. That one has also been approved by the federal government to get replaced. That construction won't be until 26 though. There's some equipment purchases. With the new shop, we wanted to get those hoists and them 6-post hoists. In order for us, we were going to put them in the budget. They were going to be put in the new shop, brand new. They were $175,000. I found them in the city of Little Chute, and we picked them up for, I believe, 72,000 bucks. We've probably lifted more with them since we bought those in this last late spring, early summer than they did in the 4 or 5 years that they owned them. So 5 yarders, there's a truck, an aerial truck. We had a trailer mounted one. It failed and it was beyond repair. The covered trailer is actually is a saw trailer. There's the saws on the left side, but houses, it's all in there. There's water inside of it, self-contained, so you can go out and you can cut. We don't have to worry about OSHA coming after us. The little thing in the middle, the green thing, is all it is a disc section. If you were to go and buy one of them, they're about $15,000. We built it for about $1,200. And all it does is reclaim the edge of the shoulders, brings it up so we can grade it all out and get it up against the road. And then a patrol superintendent truck. The other thing is electronics. The thing on the right in the center is a GPS Trimble system. So we used to do it by hand and we were plus or minus 28 feet when we located signs. Right now we were plus or minus 0.3 of an inch. So eventually we want to be able to incorporate that into our grading scheme so that we can lay out a road and we can grade that way. So electronics is the wave of the future for equipment and we're trying to get into it. So that's it. I will tell you solid waste. I don't have any slides for solid waste. We ended up about $35,000 in a hole. Part of it is we're revenue short on electronic recycling. Recycling in whole is down for 2022 compared to what it was 2020, 2021. Garbage is down a little bit too. A lot of it, I think, had a lot to do with people being home 2020 with COVID and 2021. They had time to clean out stuff. So we saw more of that. Now we're kind of back the other way. So we went over budget a little bit on that side of it. But, and we had some increases on some of our solid waste collections. So that's it. Any questions?
Very good. Any questions for Brian?
No questions, but thank you in advance. I know you guys are gonna have some long days in the next couple days.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what we do.
Are you, Brian, are you getting parts like for that truck now that's been down? I mean, are things opening up that way or?
So that 5-yarder that you saw, normally I have been buying 2 of them a year. I can't buy one this year.
Mhm.
They're just not available. The Western Star, Freightliners, which we've been buying mostly lately, Mack, none of them guys have openings for trucks. Freightliner will help me out because we're a good customer of Freightliners, but they will not help me. They'll help me out with quad axles that we use for hauling our base courses and our materials with, but not on the side with the plowing because they won't make a front frame extended machine or truck at this time. So probably the biggest problem that we're having with that one specific truck is there's a short in a wire someplace in that wiring harness, and a wiring harness starts out from the battery about that big around, goes up to the ECM.
Mhm.
They've changed almost the whole thing out and we're still stuck with it. So,
Huh.
you know, sometimes a guy walks up and he just takes them 2 minutes and he finds a green wire and you splice it and you're good to go. And sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug.
Yes. Thank you, Brian. Couple of busy days ahead. So, all right, then we'll go into the Sheriff's Department annual report with Sheriff Wally Zilke.
Good afternoon, evening, everybody. I sent the original report to you guys. It was probably, I don't know, a couple 300 pages. So we'll said make it quick. So I'll make it quick. I think I shortened it down to 25 or so slides. Our annual report. Obviously, everybody knows who I am. Chief Deputy Jim Leitz, jail lieutenant, took over for Lieutenant Heather Wittig after she passed. Lieutenant Brad McCoy came out of the Detective Bureau. Patrol Lieutenant Stacy Vaquero has been there for, I believe, 10 years in her position. Communications Lieutenant Ryan McElroy. Court Security Dan Struzinski. I have currently 58 full-time positions, 2 part-time court security positions, and I am currently 2 deputies short, 1 corrections officer short, and 1 communications officer short. And I believe as of Friday, I probably filled those last 2 positions, the corrections officer and communications officer. So I would be 2 deputies short right now.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we're making strides, to say the least. Accomplishments for 2022. We installed a new generator at the Coloma Tower site. new jail medical provider. We were contacted early on and said our jail medical provider was going to pull out. So we had to search for a new medical provider. Southern Health Partners now takes care of us in the jail. Received equipment for training, training, and created an accident reconstruction team. That's important because we're not using the state patrol anymore. We're cutting our times down. I believe the last fatal we had recently, we were there for 45 minutes. That we're usually waiting for 2 hours for them to get there, another 2 hours to get it done. We did it ourselves in 45 minutes, folks. So we never had a AED in the master control. I didn't realize that until something happens, right? And it was brought to my attention. We now have an AED in the master control and the housing. We created an honor guard to pay respect and honor the fallen officers in our department. And senior response vehicle, the ambulance that sat out the highway department forever, Brian, in your way, it's now on the road. It's painted black. It goes to all the warrants, fatals, response vehicles, warrants, things like that. Let me get ahead of myself. You guys are gonna say, oh, there's a whole bunch of lines there. Great color scheme. And what's that mean? It means that we're busy. The sheriff's department is the primary call taker for majority of the calls. 9,628, and I'm not gonna go through the rest of them. That's our calls for the year. Average law calls per day, 26.38. We're up a little bit from last year. Total papers served in 2022, 630. We generate revenues for that is 15,690. Total inmates booked in 2022 is 813. 600 of those were males, 213 were females. 299 of those bookings were felonies and 720 were misdemeanors. The average daily population is 70 in the jail. We're down 10 inmates from last year on an average. I'll blame that on the DA's office.
Yeah.
Get them into court, I can get them in the jail faster. Traffic crashes for 2022 are 520 total crashes. That's down a little bit from 2021, pretty average. Property damage crashes were 443 of those. 76 were injury crashes and 3 were fatalities. That's just a graph for everybody. Sex offenses in 2022 were 66 investigations. We had 0 robberies. I probably jinxed myself now. So that's just another graph. Burglaries were 20. Down, I would say, a little bit from 21. Considerably down from 2019. I think that's when we had a lot of the burglary rings going around. And when you solve 20 at a crack, that kind of takes care of them. They're in prison right now. So the assaults were 87. It's another graph. Suicide threats were 58. Suicide attempts were 6. I believe we had 4. Hang on a second. Back. I know somebody's gonna ask how many suicides they had. I had 4. Domestic abuse investigations, 72. Disorderly conducts for 224. Another graph of that, down a decline. The disorderly conducts were up. Agency assist in the county, 229. Emergency detentions, thank you, Ruth, 48.
So they're up even more.
Absolutely there. And it's a cycle.
Mhm.
We've done 45 cell phone and tablet extractions. That's where we do a warrant. We gather their phone or tablet or computer. Sex crimes, we're examining those, and those are a lot of those criminal investigations that are coming out. 7 DRE examinations. Zach Gunderson is our DRE. So, any questions? Told you I'd make it short and sweet.
Questions?
No questions?
Having your staff so much fuller. It's got to be a lot better for the stress level in your department, I'm sure. So,
It is.
yep,
It is.
I'm glad to see that. Anybody have any questions for Wally? No. All right. Well, thank you very much. Very good report. Okay. So we'll move on to discussion possible motion action items. The pharmacies settlement participation. One, Ruth.
So I said I'd be back in March, but it's only February. So right now they're asking us whether or not we want to participate in the next round of settlements. So this is with the pharmacies. There is a total, the settlement is about $16 billion between the different pharmacies that are involved: Allergan, CVS, Teva, Walgreens, and Walmart. That is for everybody who participates. So that's not even just the state of Wisconsin. I can't give you an exact amount of what would be our share because they can't apply the formula until they know how many of us are all going to participate. So the formula will be very similar to what it was for the first round of settlements with Janssen and some of the other distributors, where there'll be the overall thing, and then depending upon the state's participation and all of the municipalities in the state that are part of that. So in Wisconsin, it's 71 counties and 1 city that are part of the group, because Milwaukee City also was part of it. There's 1 county that is not part of it. Otherwise, the other 71 counties are part of it. So if we get all 71 of our counties and our city, plus the state, the DOJ is already been in talks. They are working on signing their documents. So there'll be additional documents for us to sign after they get theirs. But if we get all of that, then Wisconsin's share will be based upon having 100% participation in the settlement agreement, and it won't be reduced. And then from that, then there'll be the allocation the same as it was for the other settlements. The Wisconsin law that went into effect that said the majority of it will go back to the municipalities and the smaller portion will stay with the state to do abatement things will still apply for this settlement. So tonight, what I am asking for is approval from you guys for me to go ahead and sign the documents with the settlement administrator saying that yes, Waushara County is agreeing to participate in the settlement. And then as we get more details about the amount, I will bring those back to you to let you know exactly what we'll be getting in them. Our attorneys are recommending that we participate in the settlement. I have another call with them tomorrow for some more details because things are kind of moving fast.
And am I right too, most of these are like in different amount of years, like Walmart is a different amount of years. And so some of the money might be coming in larger sums and.
Right. So this one, so Teva is over 13 years. Allergan is over 7 years. CVS is over 10 years. Walgreens is over 15 years. And Walmart is over 6 years. So each one of them will be making payments. Now, Janssen & Janssen also had been over a period of like 15 years, I think, but they made their first 5 payments to us last year. So we got 5 years worth of payments in one. So, you know, they always have the ability to pay ahead. So we might get some more quicker, but we'll have a steady stream of payments coming in for the next several years to help with some of our programs.
Okay. So I guess I would look for a motion then that Waushara County would participate in the pharmacy opioid settlements. Moved by Mr. Kirschner, second by Mr. Bonviglio. Is there any discussion? Anybody have any questions? Okay, then proceed to vote on your tablets. Yes. Okay, the vote passes. Then we'll move into the opioid settlement proceeds request, staff attendance at the National Drug Endangered Children's Conference.
So we did a nice job preparing your list of priorities for our settlement agreements. And then the first application I got was for staff development, and we didn't talk about that. I talked to the people who were applying. They're from the Department of Human Services. I looked at the conference materials and thought that this would fit amongst your priorities. So I'm bringing it back to get your approval because it's not on the priority list. But so what the drug endangered children's, we have a drug endangered children's team in Waushara County. And then this is like the national one. What it would be doing, it would be sending 2 staff members to go and obtain education on new types of way to be able to treat children who have been living in drug homes, different types of like therapy that might be beneficial to them, getting us some additional information on how to do community preventative programming to try to get the word out to help prevent it. And then just getting us some additional resources in the event that we would have. So it does meet the criteria because they will be talking about children who live with people who use opioids. They also will be discussing other types of drugs. So we'll be able to cross-train over lots of different things. And so I'm just here to see if you would approve their request for approximately $3,370. That's the staff and the travel. They've been advised that, you know, if the travel was less than what they estimated, we would only pay the department back the amount that it actually was.
Could I also ask that maybe this is a precedent setting one and we add that to the list? So in the future, because there will probably be other conferences that will come forward that would be for educational for opioids too. So I guess if someone wants to make a motion. Okay, everybody understand that? Is there a second? Okay, second by Mr. Kirschner. Any discussion?
I've got one question.
Yep.
Okay,
So this program already exists within the county.
We have a current DEC team. It is a multidisciplinary team. There are participants from the Sheriff's Department, my office, District Attorney, the Medical Examiner, EMS, Human Services, Public Health. And we originally started 15 years ago, maybe, when there was big concern that there was going to be a lot of meth labs is kind of how it got started. And like our initial process was to make sure that we had supplies set up so that if the Sheriff's Department or EMS came across a meth lab, we could get the children out safely, take off their contaminated clothes, get them into something dry and get them to the hospital. That's how our original purpose started. As the drugs in the county kind of morphed, and luckily, Waushara County did not have a lot of meth labs like that they were seeing in other parts of the state. We started to like focus more on community prevention and doing some of the fax dinners, as well as talking about how we could better coordinate our services. So like, for instance, if the Sheriff's Department is going to execute a warrant on a suspected drug house, and they have reason to believe from their information that there are children in the home, they try to like execute that if the children are school age, when the children are in school, so they're not subjected to that. If the children are younger than that and non-school, we have human services staff out there right then and there so they can take the children out of the foray and not be around all of that kind of stuff. So it's more like coordinating how we can like help kids that are in this situation and get them the resources that they need. But yes, we do have a team already.
any other questions? Okay, seeing none, then we'll proceed to vote. Okay, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Okay, consideration possible action on the following resolution. Resolution number 02-02-23. Resolution awarding the sale of $42,500,000 note anticipation notes, Series 2023A. Okay, motion by Mr. Bonfiglio. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Peterson. Do we have any discussion? Does anybody want any clarification? Jeff is here. I think we talked about this in the last meeting. So is any discussion? Okay, then we'll proceed to vote. Okay, the resolution passes. All right, very good. So then, do we have any board suggestions for any future agenda items? Seeing none, I'll entertain oh, Everett does? Yes. Oh, you have a motion to adjourn? Okay, motion to adjourn. Is there a second? No second? Oh, second by Mr. Bonfiglio. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you very much. Hey, not too.
I think you can still ask.
I just pass this morning, Jeff, when you talk. Thanks, Brian. Support. Thank you.
Right, keep it short and sweet.
Well, it is what it is.
I only forgot, I should have said anybody wants to know anymore, my office is
I'll just
open all the
answer.
time.
Yo,
It's right.
sometime when we get through this, it's wrong. Like to, see the new thing. I've got to get over to Parsippany and
The only one that I
I'd like to get up,
was
just take a look.
concerned would be their evidence.
There's a drill for.
No, I'd be.
I'll contact you.
Well, that-